This is just more of a check-in, how I'm growing, what I'm learning, what I'm doing, how I be. You know how I be. All right, so welcome back everyone to another episode of Living with Audacity. I'm your host, Aisha, and it's another glorious day. So today we're doing something a little bit different. I haven't done it before, but I thought I would do something around a seasonal check-in. And like a check-in with you, but also a check-in with myself. Because here's the thing, right? This is season 2, episode I don't even know what. I can't keep track because your girl is just out here doing her thing. But one of the things that I have realized is that I've evolved, okay? When I look at season 1, it's not to say that season 1 wasn't good. Season 1 was actually really good. I loved it. It was my first entry into podcasting. But I can kind of see the differences around comfortability, the topics that I talked about, the way that I showed up. I mean, it might be difficult for other people to see because I think I probably came out the gate like, look at me. But I have learned a lot. Like I've grown in a lot of ways. And I just wanted to share that with you because I think we're always in a season of growth. We're always in a season of development. And I think in our aspirations and our desire to evolve, we don't often take the time to actively pause and think about the ways that we're growing and the things that we've learned and the things that we've let go of and the things that we've brought into our life. So you're going to join me on this little self-reflective journey for the next little bit. And hopefully the things that I say inspire you to kind of take stock of all the ways that you've grown in your own personal, professional, hopefully you're young, maybe academic life, right? And so first I want to kind of talk about like where I'm at. Your girl is feeling good. I'm feeling good physically. I'm feeling good mentally. I'm feeling good spiritually. I'm speaking more into existence to be, doing well financially because, we out here trying to make that paper. But I am in a really good place in my life. And I'm only speaking about myself, right? I am feeling confident. I'm feeling like I have a depth of awareness around where I'm going, what I'm doing, the gifts that I possess. I am mindful that I am still working through different things, again, in my personal life and my professional life, but that it is all taking me to my desired, destination, which is to always be in a state of greatness. I realize that, when I put my head down at night, that I feel peaceful, if that makes sense. I feel like, I haven't achieved everything that is on my to-do list, but that the things that I have achieved, I'm proud of. Right? You know, when you go to bed and you just have a good sleep and you're like, there's no worries, there's no stress, or there's minimal stress. Let me take it back. I have 3 kids, guys. I don't live in the space of no stress. But like I go to bed thinking, all right, Aish, like you've done well. You've done good. Like you've worked hard again. And that you're reaping the benefits of these sacrifices and the work that you're putting in. And another thing for me that of kind of where I'm at is I feel like, and I would love to hear people's comments about this, but I feel like I'm on the edge of this place of balancing courage with curiosity. Like I'm really in a place where I'm wanting to kind of just open up another avenue to be like, what else? Like what else exists out there for me? What else do I get to do? What else can I try? And not necessarily in the podcast space, but just in my business as an entrepreneur, as a woman, as a mother, as a wife. Like what else do I get to experience and explore? So I'm definitely in this like cool balance of courage meets curiosity. I'm also mindful that I do not have it all figured out. Like again, I dream a lot. I often find myself in a space where I can almost see myself doing something or experiencing something before it has happened. And so I am in a stage where I know I haven't figured it all out, but that I'm committed to figuring it all out. Like, what does it mean? If a thought comes to me, if an idea comes to me, if somebody says something and I'm like, that's kind of piqued my interest a little bit, right? Like, what does that mean? right? Do I have the time, the space to do it? Definitely in a space of curiosity, which I'm really excited about because, as we know, curiosity did not kill the cat. Curiosity creates the opportunity to explore what else, right? Another big one for me is like, what have I learned and what am I learning? So what I'm learning is I love podcasting. I love it. I love it. Like, I don't know why I wasn't doing it before, but I love it. What I'm learning also is that I have something to share. I don't have all the answers. I don't know everything, but I know what I'm sharing holds value and that there are people who take what I say and implement it in their life and explore ways that they can be audacious and unapologetic. And I'm grateful for that, right? Because in another podcast that I did, I think it was with Rena, not my best friend, Rena. That's another episode. When your best friend has a best friend, you got to look out for that one. But Rena Winston, and we were talking about our gifts and that what we need to learn is that we all have gifts, but we also need to get comfortable with that gift. And what I'm learning is to really immerse myself in the gifts that I've been given and to not shy away from them because other people might not see the gift or might not validate the gift, but that I know it exists. I'm also learning, actually, I've been learning that I have grown from some of the hardest things in my life. That the challenges, the obstacles, the barriers that have been put on me have allowed me to learn the most about myself. And not just from the perspective of resilience, but like a deeper side of me. You know what I mean? How I see myself, how I believe in myself, what I tell myself, the energy that I place into myself. You know what I mean? It has been actually in some of those darkest moments, those hardest moments, both personally and professionally, where I've been like, girl, you know. So stop doubting the things that you know and like step into it, right? I've also kind of learned about what, like the kind of awareness that I have around me. So I'm a very observant person. My friends will always tell me that. Like I will be quiet in a room and I'm just listening and watching and taking it all in. And I think what I've learned is that is like that intuition that I have is to honor that. I can remember a period of time where I would feel things, I would see things, I would hear things, I would acknowledge things, but I would counter it because I didn't trust my gut. Trust your gut. Your gut will never lead you astray. Your gut will sometimes make you do and say things and move in a direction that is uncomfortable, but it is not leading you in the wrong direction. So I think that's what I've learned, to really trust my gut in interactions, in projects, in decisions that I'm making, again, both personally and professionally. I have never and will not lead myself astray. So that's something that I've learned. And another piece I want to talk about is how am I growing? How have I grown in this space? Well, I'd love for people in my life to tell me how they think I've grown. And hopefully I have. But growth really can be both subtle and significant, right? I think I've grown subtly more in the ways that I am showing up for myself, in the decisions that I'm making, in being unwavering in what my commitment is to myself, even if people want me to shift in their direction. My best friend, Stephanie, if you watch again, besties, spilling tea from time, she's always like, we know that when you don't care, you don't care. Real talk. When I am committed to my decision, I am not ruffled by peer pressure at all. I'm going to do what I need to do for myself. And what I do for myself doesn't always work for everyone, but it's working for me. I think where I've also noticed a change is in my confidence, in my habits, even in my tone and the way that I speak. I speak with purpose. I speak with conviction. Now listen, even speaking with purpose and conviction, I can be wrong, but I'm okay in that. Like I'm okay to be wrong and I'm okay to receive a challenge, but I am unwavering in the things that I'm saying. And I think those are the things that I can see in myself, and I can see that how that's being received, right? It's being received actually as and this is not about me tooting my home, but it's being seen as admiration. It's being seen as inspiration, that people themselves want to be affirmed in their voice, that when they say something, they mean it. And that even if people have a negative reaction to that, that they're still confident and comfortable in reiterating what was just said. So for me, I think I've grown definitely in not wavering and removing the quiver in my voice. That's a big one. Because I used to, when I was held to something, when I believed something, I would kind of say it in a way that was like, well, like this is kind of what I was thinking. The quiver is gone. The ums are gone. I say what I need to say. Always with respect, but unwavering in what it is that I need to say. That's definitely a way that I've seen myself grow. And I think, again, like in this self-reflection piece, I feel like this is an element of a monologue. You know, when you go to a show and people just kind of pour themselves out there, I feel like I needed to do this because I say a lot of things to myself in my head almost every day. I do a lot of self-talking. I feel like if anybody were to ever see me, they'd be like, is she okay? Or does she have like other personalities that are talking to her? Maybe I do. Who knows? But I really wanted to come on and do this podcast because, again, I think the process of self-reflection is that trajectory around living with audacity. We don't show up boldly, unapologetically, and authentically if we aren't doing the self-check, if we aren't doing the work of saying, where am I thriving? Where am I growing? What am I learning? How am I showing up? To the, what am I not doing? The ways in which I'm dishonoring myself. Am I allowing people's narratives and assumptions to keep me down because I don't want people to be uncomfortable? Or am I going to show up as my bold self and hope that they get on my bandwagon? And if not, that's cool, right? We all have an opportunity to do deep, reflective work. And I encourage you to do it because this is where you really start to unpack, undo, unlearn, and create space for all the new things that you get to do, that you start to learn about yourself, that you get to tell yourself about yourself, really ultimately stepping into your most audacious being. And so I want to invite you, because of course there's always a lesson that I want to impart within this podcast, is that I want to encourage you to pause. I want to encourage you to breathe and to reflect. And I want you to think about these three things. One, where are you right now in your own audacious journey? Where are you at? Are you in the beginning? Are you at the end? Have you not even started? Right? Where are you at in your audacious journey? The next one is, what lessons have you learned this season? And how are you showing up differently because of them? We have evolved, whether we give ourselves grace and credit for it. Who you were last year, who you were 6 months ago, who you are yesterday, or who you were yesterday is different than where you are today, right? Now, in some circumstances, it's not for the better. And if it isn't, then what is the work that you need to do? And if it is for the better, have you given yourself grace? Have you given yourself the accolade? Have you given yourself gratitude for doing the work? Because that's what we don't do, right? We just want the evolution. We want the change, but we're not willing to sit in that self-reflective process to say, girl, boy, you did that. You let this go. You removed this from your life. You changed your narrative. You put in the work. You made the sacrifice, right? That self-check-in requires opportunity to just give yourself a pat on the back and say, I am still growing and evolving and moving, right? And the last one is, in what ways are you growing, even if it's just one small step at a time? How are you growing, right? Did you last year say that you weren't going to sign up for a course and then you find yourself in that course, right? Did you decide to finally take a leap of faith and start the small business that you know you should have started 3 years ago, but you finally said, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to do it. Did you cut off a relationship or a friendship that was not serving you, that wasn't making you feel good, and you finally decided, nope, it's reached the end of its time, right? That is what we talk about growth. That's when we talk about, again, that self-reflective piece, right? That's what I mean when I say giving yourself grace and gratitude for the decisions that you make to continue to move on your audacious journey. And so how do I wrap up this check-in? Because I could talk about growth and elevation all day, every day, as you know. But I want to remind you about something powerful, something loving, and something true that I hope brings those who are listening, who are subscribers. If you're new to this channel, make sure you start at season 1, because the season 1 is the build up to this elevated version of Living with Audacity. Is that living with audacity, again, isn't just about the grand gestures. It's about the quiet, consistent decisions you make every single day to show up as your most authentic self, right? This is where the check-in comes in. You got to dial back and be like, am I showing up as my most authentic self? Am I doing right by myself? Am I holding fort to my boundaries? Have I even created boundaries, right? What am I doing every single day? And so one of the things that we need to do is reconnect with your inner truth and your intentions, right? Channel that gut. Your gut will tell you if you're dishonoring yourself or doing something that you shouldn't be doing that isn't serving you. Be real with yourself. I say this over and over. I mean, for those who are subscribers, you might be tired of me saying, be honest with yourself, but be honest with yourself. Don't tell yourself a different narrative to convince yourself that the path that you're on or the decisions that you're making are serving you when you know they're not serving you. Be honest. Next one is affirm your worthiness, courage, and progress. Even if it seems small, celebrate that. And when I say celebrate, doesn't mean something that you need to share with everyone, but say, girl, you've done a good job. Like, honestly, congratulations for just staying committed or doing the work or letting go of, right? Affirm yourself in the decisions that you make every single day to get one step closer in your journey of audacity. And the last one for me is leave everyone feeling anchored, inspired, and ready to move through their day kind of with greater clarity. So for me, like, how are you leaving someone better off because they are bearing witness and experiencing you, right? For me, people always ask, like, Aisha, what's your goal in this space? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? For me, and I've said this before, every interaction that I have with someone, whether it's through podcasts, whether it's through dialogue, whether it's through a workshop, whether it's through a keynote, I want whoever is listening to me to say, I deserve better. I am worthy of more, that I am great, that I do have a purpose. I want every interaction I have with someone for them to sit back and say, I don't know why I don't think about myself the way other people see me. I want people to leave feeling great. I want people to feel inspired when they've finished a conversation, and not inspired to say, oh, I want to be like Aisha. I want people to leave a conversation with me and say, I want to be a better version of myself because I know I am worthy of that. That is what my goal is. That is how I serve. That is what I seek in this space at all times. Right? So I do hope that when you watch this podcast, when you've had an interaction with me, when you go to a workshop, the things that are coming down the pipe with Living with Audacity and Me to My Health, that you leave that feeling more grounded, more affirmed, and even more committed to your own growth and development. Right? And so again, I want you to remember that audacity isn't a destination. It is a journey that we are constantly doing things to get better, to evolve, and to feel better. I want you to remember that you can take up space, even if space isn't created for you at the table. You know what you do? Hey, would you mind moving over a little bit? Would you mind creating space? Or maybe you just create your own space and let them know that you've arrived, right? That is a part of the audacious journey. That audacity begins with a whisper that says, I am enough as I am, and I'm still growing, right? Not that I'm not enough, that I am enough right now, but that I'm continuing to evolve and grow. I want you to remember that your presence is power. If you are ruffling people's feathers when you step into a room, continue. Continue to do it. Because what it means is that they're seeing something in you that they recognize does not exist within them. So be mindful again of whose measuring stick you're using. What do I say? Do not ever accept someone's view of you because their view of you might be your baseline. Okay? Not your actual maximum state. So be very careful around whose opinion, whose value you hold over yours. The last one is breathe in courage, exhale self-doubt. I'm going to say it again. Breathe in courage and exhale self-doubt. You've already come this far. You didn't reach this point without having had courage, without having battled through circumstances and challenges. Honor that. Recognize that you've done work. Yes, there's more work to do, but honor the work that you've already done to date, right? As you move through this moment, as you move through your day, as you move through the week, the year, whatever that looks like, give yourself permission to grow, but give yourself permission to slip. Life is not linear, guys. Okay? Nothing happens in a straight line. What do I say over and over and over and over and over again? Life is more like a 3-year-old trying to stay in the lines. And what is happening outside those lines is actually where you understand the greatest version of yourself. Give yourself permission to slip. We all do. We all do in some shape or form, and that's okay. The question is, after you slip, what are you doing? Are you lamenting and taking yourself lower? Or are you saying, all right, where am I going to course correct? What did I learn from this slippage? How am I going to do better? How am I going to evolve? Right? Give yourself grace and be real. Be you. Because again, this is what it means to live with audacity. Living with audacity doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean everything is perfect. It doesn't exist. If it's perfect, there's something that's about to blow up. Keeping it 100. Something is about to blow up if everything in your life is perfect. Perfection doesn't exist. Living with audacity means the commitment to authenticity, to being unapologetic, to being willing to slip and grow and evolve and try again. Okay? I want to thank you. I want to thank you for joining me on this self-check-in. I felt like this was like a therapeutic process of me just being able to kind of articulate where I'm at, where I'm growing, what I'm doing. There's so much more to come. Listen, this version that you see on this podcast weekly is like maybe the middle ground. There's more. So again, if you're ruffled and uncomfortable, I would tell you to buckle in because your girl is about to step out even greater. For those who take inspiration, I'm going to pour that energy into you for you to understand again that you are worthy of your greatness, that you have power, that you have a gift, and do not dim your light. Do not allow others to make you feel as though showing up in your audacity is a bad thing. It's a great thing because there's somebody else out there that is looking at you thinking, if she can do it or if they can do it, so can I. And so with that, I want to thank you for joining me on my self-check-in journey today. I do hope that you're enjoying this season. I hope you're enjoying all the things that I share on this podcast. Again, I'm always open to topics. If there's things you want me to talk about, shoot me a message. Send me a DM on Instagram at meetomoa.health. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe there. Send me a comment. I am here to serve the people. All right? Wishing you all a great day. Thank you for joining another episode of Living with Audacity, and see you soon.